Hey, welcome to the Sloppy Boys Blowout. I'm a big head bopper. I'm sitting here live with Jeffy D.
Howdy.
And Timmy K.
What is up?
Now, how would you describe your location in the U.S. right now? The two of you, I want to hear it. Southwest.
If I had to describe our location in 2 words, I'd say El Paso.
Yeah.
We are within the city limits of El Paso. Love to be here. We're here for the
Beer.
I love you guys, and I love that you take the cues so well. I told you, I'm reading on the sheet here. I knew that was going to come up with the both of you.
Yeah?
So tell me what's new. How you doing? How you feeling?
Oh, boy. Well, we're feeling good. We're in this moment, we're down in West Texas promoting a film.
Down in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Down in West Texas.
I came here
El Paso.
for a film festival.
Right. I came here
film
for
festival.
a film festival.
We're here in El Paso for the El Paso Film Fest. We're doing the Robert Olguin's
Smear campaign.
rain shot. No, not a smear campaign.
jab.
We're premiering our movie tonight.
Yes.
Robert Olguin's movie.
At the Plaza Theater.
That's right.
Well, we
don't
shouldn't
have to
say
get the
every
word. Yeah.
time because they can't make it.
They don't care.
But then we do a Q&A, and then we go right across the street and we fucking rock the house.
Unless your
At a free show.
unless your best friend is named Doc Brown, you ain't getting back in time for this showing.
We don't know that Doc and Marty were best friends. We know that they were
I thought
friends.
they were.
Friends.
You know that early script, we probably talked about this, but that early script where Doc and Marty they sold bootleg videotapes
Yeah.
and sold drugs too, maybe?
It was like weed and VHS tapes.
That was like the early version of that script. That's what I want Hollywood
They
to
had
do.
to lean into that. Like, I think that when they cleaned it up for Universal, it's not like they were lamenting it. It was more like on the heels of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, they were kind of told teen movies are supposed to have some raunch and razz and to them.
You know what would be cool?
What?
You know we got all these remakes coming back, the reboots. It'd be fun if Hollywood did early versions of script. Like, hey, you've seen...
We're going to shoot the movie of the early version of the script?
yeah.
That's a good... Wouldn't
that be fun?
The pot selling Back to the Future, if you put that out now,
Yeah.
put it on Mubi, I'll watch it.
I'll watch it. I'll tune in.
Yeah.
We don't have any microphones here. It feels kind of
We got-
strange.
we got those microphones
We got
clipped
lav mics, but I feel like
It's like
I
doing
can...
a stand-up set
Yeah.
without a...
You don't like the range of motion?
I do. I could be
Doug.
doing it from here or from way over here.
Yeah. I wanted to mention something. You were talking about how
boy.
Hollywood these days.
I feel like this has been building up for a while.
Yeah, Hollywood these days a lot of sequels and reboots and all that.
God.
Franchises.
You know, this for the toys.
Do you think that Blood, Sweat, and Beers, or how the Sloppy Boys made an album in West Texas, do you think that was going to be every year we got another one and stick around for the post-credits scene and there's a hint
Right.
to the other thing?
It used to be pretty good. Now it's like really campy and it's cool.
Or remember how they had Dogtown and Z-Boys, the doc?
Yeah.
And then they made the Hollywood version called just Dogtown or something
Yeah.
like that.
Ooh. Lords of Dogtown.
Maybe they make like the movie version of Blood,
And
Sweat,
we're going to
and
have
Beers.
to audition.
so-
We're going to have to put ourselves on tape and send it in and say, hey, can I play Tim? No, at best you can play Mike.
That'd be so funny if they got like, who are the hot young actors?
got the
Timothy
Last of Us guy.
Chalamet and the guy from,
We got Last of Us.
Pascal.
Pascal. Pedro
Ooh, yeah.
Pascal.
Yeah, Pizza Fat Scal.
I like that. And I like you guys.
Chalamet could be you.
Me, no. You know, DJ Qualls would play me, I think.
Yeah, because the studios want some big Hollywood actor, man. So DJ
Someone who's been in a
Qualls.
movie before.
He was in Road Trip 30 years ago. Yeah, that's true.
Hold on, I wanted to bring up something. Ah, yes. The chilaquiles I just ate.
Yeah, you had a little skill. We just went to dinner.
Little breakfast time.
And we really chowed down. And you had a little skillet of chilaquiles with salsa verde and eggs.
Couldn't finish it. I was saying when it came, it was this little skillet came down. I said, this isn't a lot of food, you know. And by the time I ate some of it, had my hash browns, had some stuff off of other people's plates, which was my plan.
You got me with my side.
Up to the side, a pancake.
Imagine a side of a short stack of pancakes. A meal in its
had-
own right.
Yeah, with butter with cinnamon in it, and then I had some of Robert's chorizo pancake.
Sure.
No,
we
I've
should
never
say
seen
Robert didn't finish very much of his breakfast at all.
He's a guy on the move.
We shouldn't
He
let him
doesn't
eat
have time
lunch.
for that shit.
He's not allowed to have lunch. He didn't finish his breakfast.
Yeah, he's not part of the CPC, the Clean Plate Club.
So this whole weekend, we're doing this
I'm
film
an
festival
advocate for the
weekend.
CPC. I
We need to raise awareness.
do
Man,
talk,
I'm
I
with
do
the
talk to the
CPC.
Hey, this
your
is my
husband
camera. I'm
home?
raising money for the CPC.
You really cleaned your plate, huh? You and Mookie cleaned those plates.
Yes.
I eat too much and then I get tired and sad.
Eat too much.
Eat too much.
That is a move. You get tired of it. Like, I wouldn't call you a big eater. I would say that you overshoot your potential at every meal and then go, oh,
Yes.
a big eater would eat it all and say, hey, I'm fine.
Take
But
it in stride.
You're a medium eater who overeats 3 times a day.
Yeah. Because I got no willpower.
Yeah, you don't have to. You look fantastic.
Thanks.
Now we're here in our Airbnb, which is, I would say, one of the nicer places I've ever been.
I know.
Yeah.
It's the I don't know how much we can see on the cameras here.
Plenty.
Oh, if you're just
I
listening
think
to this,
we're only just getting a tight shot on my face.
The money maker.
it's beautiful here. We got a nice view of all the mountains here, the Mexican mountains in the back.
What a thrill to be in the desert and it's 100 degrees, but you're inside in the air conditioning with big open windows to look out and say, it's hot out there.
That's like when Mitch says, like, I love East Coast summers. You're inside with the AC. That means you don't like the East Coast
He's like,
summer.
I love the winters. I'm outside.
you're
It's
hiding
freezing.
from it.
You like to be cold. Do you guys?
Here it comes.
This is a real
This is
question.
going to be great,
God.
Tim.
Do you appreciate or even notice architecture and design?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Tim, that's all I need to know.
I don't have the.
Next question.
Now, Tim, go ahead.
I don't have the lexicon of the glossary of the terms to use. Of
course.
So
No
look,
one does.
if I see a colonial, I'm going to call it out. If I see a craftsman, I'm going to call it out. If I see something that's mid-century modern, I'm going to call it out. If I see something that's Art Deco, I'm going to call it out.
See, I don't know that stuff.
That's the end of it. Well,
But I know
those are all-
terms. I can say, if you're talking to architects, you say, oh, the way the facade just hangs. And then
Yeah.
back away, back
I look
away.
at houses. This is quite naturalistic.
So this
Yes.
one reminds me of a brutalism.
Ooh. Well, you know the way that Frank Lloyd Wright was always trying to incorporate nature into his work. Where's the bathroom?
Right.
Oh, the bathroom.
I guess that's good to know. I like architecture, and when I walk around, I look at it and see why things were. And I don't know much about it, but I think
You know
I find it
crown molding?
interesting. I do know crown
That's
molding,
my-
and I know
my
Hagen
latest
Dark
get.
when it comes to
I don't know that I
Roman
know
molding.
crown molding.
I got some nice crown molding.
Is it like along the corner of the where the
we don't-
ceiling
we don't
where
have-
ceiling meets wall?
Yeah, we don't have traditional corners right here, so you don't have any, but
Where ceiling meets wall,
They don't have
the
any pop
molding
corners
hides
here either.
all.
Do we have any pop corners?
popcorners.
Yeah, they're chips made of popcorn. You get them on JetBlue flights.
I've had those before.
Hey, they don't do the Terra Blue potato chips anymore, do they?
I know those are good. You can buy them in the store though.
But I don't want to.
But I'm not at
You
the
want the
store. I'm in
free-
the
if
I'm
air.
a true blue member. I don't take all these flights for nothing. I like to go to the market. Did you guys ever been to the marketplace? The JetBlue marketplace?
No.
They give you the chips or whatever you want, but then throughout the flight, when you go up to the bathrooms, right across from the bathroom door,
yeah.
there's like a little refrigerator of the snacks.
You
and
just take stuff.
It's called the JetBlue Marketplace.
Isn't it funny sometimes you go on a plane and you're like, all right, this is a normal plane. It's got 3 seats on one side of the aisle and 3 seats on the other. And then even if it's not international, sometimes you step on a plane, it's like, okay, wow, we've got 2 seats on each side and then 4 in the middle.
Big boy.
Big
And
boys.
like what you're saying with the bathrooms, like sometimes there's like 2 bathrooms in the middle of the plane. Sometimes it's just way
Oh,
in
I
the
had some
back.
great free freef the other day. Coming back, I went
You
to.
don't have to say free.
Freef is free,
Freef
my boy.
is free food. You don't have to
right.
say free free.
It's like chai tea. You don't say chai tea. Anyway, I go to Albuquerque. On my way back, the lady's coming around with the drinks, and I said, whiskey Coke. And I gave her my card, and she said, I don't have the thing, the reader. I'll get you
That's IP.
when I come back. She never came back. Free drink.
Hey,
Damn. I got some free drinks recently too. When we were coming back from the Hopscotch Music Festival, the guy, I ordered a drink and he was like, do you want a double? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, we
Yeah.
charge you for one. And then the second time I got a drink, he was like, you want a double? I was like, yeah, you didn't charge me at all. I knew that I had a recent thought about planes and I wrote it in my phone. And then I brought it up on my notes app.
make
Is it any good?
out of the
Well, I
black
haven't even
box?
read it yet. I'm going to cold read it. Let's decide together if it's any
boy.
good. Yeah. I was going to do a joke about how if you are on a flight and you don't put your phone in airplane mode, that it'll crash the plane or something. But like, They stopped even asking that anymore, right? Airplane
I
mode?
think they say it like once, but no one ever checked. Like after they say it, a flight attendant says it, I'll still be on my phone like finishing a text or
Yeah.
something, and no one's said
And
it.
I'll be like, sometimes you're like 200 feet off the ground and you're still
Yeah.
tweeting. Other times you're landing and you're like, I haven't looked at my phone in hours, and I'm just start getting the and you go, woohoo, hey, no, I can't hang out. I'm just about to land at the airport.
The airport. I'm on the outside of the airport.
You don't want to mention that you're on a plane. Look, I'm outside the airport and a little above it.
Let's just say I was recently 30,000 feet above the ground for the last 2 hours. Okay,
Let's put it
but I'm
that
outside
way,
of it
no more
right now. I'm
questions.
outside an airport.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and beers is the reason for the season down here in El Paso. How you guys liking the festival so far? I'm
Oh, good. We
grooving
did a
out.
big old step and repeat.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
I've never been to a film festival.
Well, now you're the
before.
toast of the town.
I
You're
am
the toast of the film world.
I'm the toast of the town. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great if you walked into Hollywood or New York or Miami or Chicago and said, "Hey, you're the toast of the town tonight"?
Amazing.
How would you do? That's a lot of pressure.
You know what's kind of fun? I was thinking last night we were at one of these opening parties. We went to the festival opening party, then went to a screening, then an after party for that screening. I haven't been doing a lot of networking recently. It's kind of funny when you stand there and there's a stranger and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, Tim Kalpakis?"
Right.
I'm a filmmaker out of El Paso. But we had,
You're the filmmaker? I'm in a film.
you know, when you're talking to someone, I rarely initiate, but when you're talking to someone and the only reason is that we're here to talk to people, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
I've never been to a singles mixer, but it kind of feels like it'd be a singles mixer where you just walk up to someone and you're like,
What's your
"Hello.
name? What's your name? What do you do?" And that's all we're here to do.
Yeah, here's all my facts. Now you say yours. Let's see if any of them align.
Anytime anyone tried to talk to me yesterday at the opening party because there was tacos there, I gave him the old Homer Simpson can't talk eating.
Yes.
Merge.
Yep.
Merge. Where's my fucking shirt?
My
From the one where Homer doesn't have his
I can't
shirt.
find his shirt all episode. Where is this fucking thing? I see Bart's shirt.
His red
I
shirt
see Lisa's yellow orange dress.
or Bart's blue shirt from early on.
That's right.
I love when Homer shaves and then his whole face is yellow for a second, and then it
Yeah,
goes
and
back
like-
in and he gets that whole thing. You're like, oh, so the whole time we were looking at stubble. I didn't know that
yeah.
that's what that was.
Yeah. That's a good point. He's an odd little dude.
Yeah.
Did they ever say how tall those guys are?
I think they're all 5'9".
All of them?
Yeah. Homer's 36 years old, right?
Yeah.
And James Gandolfini was 36 when he shot The Sopranos pilot.
So that's like the golden age.
Did anyone ever find my prescriptions?
Oh,
You see, we're coming live here. I hope we can edit some of this. I'm trying to find some stuff to talk about
well,
with you two. You guys are.
I have something great to talk about.
Say it
Well, what do you
then.
got?
You guys are closed
You
books
said
over
something
there.
about can't talk eating, and we're talking about
Yeah, Merrick.
well being at a meeting and eating on the topic. Meeting and eating was my friend way back in junior high. My friend was in New York City, and he's walking and he saw Jerry Lewis.
I'm walking here.
Old comedian and famous jerk. And my friend goes up to Jerry Lewis and says, "Oh, wow, Jerry Lewis!" And Jerry Lewis is eating a hot dog, and he goes, and my friend waits, and he goes, and Jerry Lewis finishes the hot dog, walks away.
That's funny though.
I really like that story, and I tell that story to people and say it's you. Because
Well-
it's too much to go, my friend's
My
friend.
friend's friend.
I can think you start the story. Say, do you know Tim Kalpakis? Well, he went to junior high with Nate Robbins.
Oh, yeah. You tell me the Jerry Lewis story? It's a great one. Oh, you've heard it? Yeah, but tell it.
Yeah,
It's such
tell
a
it
good
again. I
story.
want to hear a live version.
The way I tell it, though, and I thought this was it. Jerry Lewis eats the hot dog, then holds up his finger and says, "Hold on one second." And then he's eating a hot dog. Right as he finishes that one, he starts eating another one.
That's better.
But I think that's the way you told it the first time.
Well, I'm kind of
Tell
a
Andy, so
rock
nobody-
on tour. Every time I tell a story, I bring it to life. It's the factual details are not the case, but the way I tell it in the room when I'm holding court. Oh,
You can make
I'm
up
sitting
any.
at a booth. I got Dino on one side and Sammy on the other.
You can make up any story about a celebrity. No
Dino
one's gonna tell me.
Stamatopoulos, Sammy Hagar.
Might as well jump.
Yeah.
Hey, we saw a movie in the theater yesterday.
That's right. The
was
first one we
called?
see. Deadland.
Yes. And that was when we sat down and the lights went down, it was the first time I realized our film is going to be playing in this very same
Tonight.
room tomorrow.
Well,
But
so,
then
yes,
it
I
was
gotcha.
tomorrow.
I gotcha. Yes, okay.
And it just occurred to me that's the reason for this whole thing. Because when you go on a trip, you're like, Robert's picking us up. We're going to the Airbnb. We're getting lunch here, and then we're going to see this movie. But then you realize the reason for the season is for the first time we're going to have live feedback on this thing that we've seen a couple times.
It could be dead
But we got slopheads coming out, and we got a bunch of new eyes who probably don't even know what a sloppy boy is.
I mean, the only people who've seen it in my circle is my family, and
my
like
parents.
they love it.
And they hated it.
They hate me, but they like the movie.
That happens to me a lot. It's very easy to, like in the context of a week like this, there's a lot of things to do. And lost in the shuffle sometimes is the reason for the
core
whole
of it, the
thing.
nucleus.
I used to have that with acting, like when we were shooting Birthday Boys, or even more so, like when I've done teeny acting roles on like Son of Zorn or Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something.
Yeah.
It's such a whole thing of like, oh, my call time and my wardrobe. I go through wardrobe and they want me to wear this. And then, oh my God, I got to go to the makeup chair and the hair. And then the lav guy lavs me up. And then I act. And then like the lav guy lavs me. And then I take my makeup off. And then like I'm driving home like, was I funny?
Yeah, like that 9-minute window in the middle there when I was
that was the
acting.
whole point.
How was that? Was that any good?
It's like when we hear about like big celebrities like staying in their trailer too long or whatever. Some of that is like vanity, but some is like, I am going to be the person on the screen, so let me get into exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
But for, your part on Son of Zorn, that would be weird if you were like, I gotta really.
I played I don't think I had a line, and my role was that I get hit in the face with lettuce, and it was going. Thump, thump.
That's great.
Zorn was chopping up a salad, and the lettuce was
That's
hitting me in the
already
face.
funny. You don't have to worry about making that
I
funny.
know. I think it was good in it. So maybe
Were you credited as like lettuce guy, or did you have a name, or?
I think it was lettuce guy
Kalpakis?
or customer. I was at a restaurant. But I had a nice trailer, a full Star Wagon, not one of those narrow things, and spent a whole day on set, and you really feel like movie star. But then you have 4 minutes to get hit in the face with lettuce, and then you go, "Thanks, Bill Benz. See you later, Dan Lippert.
I'm keeping the lettuce."
Yeah. That's one of my biggest roles because that's a network. Other than playing Micah on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
You still seeing residuals on that?
I am still seeing residuals on that.
Nice.
Zorn? Zorn's leaving Hulu, I heard.
You banking that?
Hey, folks, it's your last chance to see Lettuce Customer on Hulu, so make sure you watch that.
Hey, that's good.
I learned that
That's
from
why
Jack
you have-
Nicholson and as
Man,
good as it
I
gets.
don't have any good background. Like you were on Monk. I mean,
That's right.
not to say what you were doing as background. You were
No,
an
I was
actor.
kind of this featured.
He was in a
guest
Star Wagon.
Yeah, they give Star Wagons all the extras.
They gave me a honey wagon.
It definitely felt like one of the stars had wrapped for the season, and there was an extra Star Wagon. I don't think Lettuce Customer typically gets a Star Wagon, but I'm sure that day I ate like a huge breakfast sandwich and then picked at Crafty all day and then ate a giant buffet lunch. And a lot of times for me, that can be the focus of the day. On a trip like this, holy shit, last night we ate, after eating free tacos at a festival event, we went to the tiki room, had a poo-poo platter. Today you had your chilaquiles, I had chorizo and eggs, and you had...
Oh, I don't know. It was like an open-faced Benedict type thing.
It's so easy for that to be the focus of the trip for me and forget about the movie. I was like, I'm on a chorizo trip.
That's concerning.
It wouldn't be a bad movie though, chorizo trip.
It is cool. Yeah, put that in the.
Well, they did Road Trip and Euro Trip. I mean, probably Chorizo Trip is next.
Yeah.
The journey of a piece of chorizo is interesting as well, because think about this. You get all this meat.
Yeah.
You grind it up, you spice it, you put it in a natural casing.
Wait, chorizo is pork?
Spicy pork. Right?
I would assume it's pork. Maybe there's beef
pork
chorizo,
sausage,
but I
right?
think it's pork. Yeah, it's a very spiced red sausage.
Yeah.
Spanish. But then it's like when it's time to serve it in like Mexican food,
Case comes
you
off.
take it back out of the case. So the case was just sort of like a temporary.
It was a formality.
It was a
It
formality.
was just some packaging, I guess.
It was the packaging. Like if you ship someone chorizo, you don't have to put it in an envelope or anything. Put the stamp right on the case and put it in your mailbox.
Isn't there was like there's like a funny Instagram where they were seeing like what can get mailed if you just put a stamp on it.
Oh, I've been mailed a
Yeah.
coconut before. Just a coconut with a stamp.
There was an artist, I have no idea when, but in a college art class, we
Picasso.
learned about a guy who like mailed like a chair to himself and like
Yeah.
just tried to see what he could get through.
Eames.
It was an Eames chair. He's like, and the topping on this is I'm going to mail it to myself. The one time I tried to mail just a piece of paper, I put address, return address, and a stamp on it and put it in the mail, and it never went
Like
anywhere.
a piece of inkjet paper.
I bet it got like smushed into something and
They
just.
probably looked at it and they said, well, they got the form, but no content.
Did I ever tell on the pod my mail story from high school where I mailed my teacher a book report?
I know this story. I don't know if it's on the pod.
Maybe I've told it to you in confidence off the record.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to tell it.
I'll tell it again right now, and if anyone wants to laugh, they can. If you've already heard it, you don't have to laugh.
Have you heard before? Set your audio to double time so you can just hear it again, but you can get through it quicker.
Yeah. It's the summer between 11th and 12th grade. I'm assigned summer reading. That's no fun. But then also summer book report by Mrs. Paisley. A great teacher, wonderful woman, but, you know, that's a little bit.
I don't like your shirt
intense.
right now, Paisley.
Yeah.
That's true. This is a
is to
tribute to
honor
her. Yeah. She goes, she gives us a summer assignment, and I don't read the book, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to write this book. So I print out off the internet, the old-fashioned internet, some like a synopsis, not Cliff's Notes, but one of those websites that has like Litwit or whatever. And it was like
Spark Notes?
the Spark Notes.
Ooh.
I print out the Spark Notes, and then I'm reading, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll write the book report based on these notes. And then I'm like, I'm running out of time. I'm not going to write this book report at all. Here's the plan that I cook up. I say, I'm going to arrive the first day of school having not written a book report, but I'm going to tell my teacher, like, there was a mail mix-up. I must have had your address wrong. I tried to mail it to you, but it came back to me. So that was the whole mix-up. So I take an envelope and I write, Mrs. Paisley, 123 Sycamore Street, Rhinebeck, New York. I made up 123 Sycamore Street. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to mail this to her. It's going to bounce back to me, and this will be my alibi. But I'm like, I don't think I'm going to mail an empty envelope, so let me put some paper in here. So the paper I reach for is the Spark Notes. Fold them up. Don't even realize that's what I'm grabbing. Fold them up, put them in the envelope, mail it to a fake address that says Mrs. Paisley in Rhinebeck, New York. It doesn't bounce back.
Yep.
A month passes.
Oof.
It's time for me to go into my first day of
boy.
senior year. I go to Mrs. Paisley's literature class, and she's handing back the book reports, and I get the Spark Notes, and on top, C+. What? She graded the Spark Notes.
How did it get to her? Oh, maybe just a small town. He's like, I know who
the
Mrs. Paisley
mailman
is.
was like, it's Mrs. Paisley. Not on
Holy
like
shit.
his current shirt.
That's wild. I thought you were going to get I thought you'd incriminated yourself for serious plagiarism or something.
I was sweating bullets like walking into school that day, being like, what the hell happened? And I was happy with a C+. So I was like, this is great.
Who was it that we heard this story, or maybe it was one of you guys sent a report in college, like emailed it to the professor, but just did sometimes in the old days if a text wouldn't show up, it would just show up as squares.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody did wrote a whole email like that and sent it to him because they didn't do the report. And then
That's good.
And they were like, oh yeah, I guess it didn't come through. Well, it's not on my computer anymore, so it's gone.
I had one of those where for Bishop Girton High School in my religion class, we had to write a 2-page essay, 2-page minimum. And I'm sort of, I'm sparse with words. I was keeping it pretty tight, and I couldn't stretch to hit the 2 pages. So what I did was, I just wrote the first page and then just trailed off, put a staple on it, handed it in, got an A. Wow. He was like, I missed your second page, but you were getting it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed your second page.
Pretty smart.
That's pretty
amazing.
Good. When you were saying Spark Notes before, I remember in high school having a test coming up about whatever book we were reading. And the teacher was like, all right, we've got this test this week from the first, 5 chapters. And don't just read the Spark Notes because it's going to be more involved in that. And I remember my head being like, yeah, right. What else could be? The Spark Notes covers it all.
What else would there be?
And I'm sure I didn't do well on that test.
It's a fundamental, and I even remember reading Cliff's Notes or Spark Notes and skipping over the analysis, just reading the plot of a book and being like, what a fundamental misunderstanding of literature or fiction. And I'm like, Tom Sawyer did this, then Tom Sawyer did that. I'm out. It doesn't
But then how are you going to know that red means passion? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Or
still
you
don't.
talk about
Scarlet Letter.
That's right. Hawthorne.
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Hawthorne, to
Hawthorne.
be quite precise. He walks in. Nathaniel Hawthorne,
If
to
I
be
have
quite
to put a
precise.
fine point on it, Nathaniel Hawthorne.
This Airbnb has a wormhole. Well, should we tell? Let's talk maybe about the fest.
The Fest.
Oh, you were saying about. I'm excited tonight, Jeff, to watch it with a group because we haven't seen. You know, when we used to do the Sloppy the Birthday Boys live show, we would have videos every month.
Right.
And watching those with an audience was fun to hear laughs.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in that situation in a long time. Like I'll put stuff out online, but I don't.
You don't know?
hear the
You don't
laughs.
hear the laughs.
And we also, when we had the Birthday Boy show on IFC, we would always, every Friday that it was airing, we met up at Public House in Los Feliz with a bunch of friends.
Yes.
And we would hang out in the back room and we would get drunk and we would watch Comedy Bang Bang and the Birthday Boys and get that moment of like, hey, it's funny, we did it. And
It's
all our
alive.
friends
It's
laughed.
out there. Yeah.
But in this digital age, people can become so isolated.
Yeah.
Comedians can have it worst of all with isolation.
We
'cause
do have a.
They
Because we're
create,
already
they create
such-
the laughs, but they don't get to hear them. We're clowns on the outside, but inside,
Yeah, we're crying.
non-clowns.
We're crying. We're screaming for some attention. Oh.
Non-clowns.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, inside we're non-clowns.
NAAN.
Oh, speaking of, like us being clowns, we, yesterday at the opening party and stuff, we were dressed in our kind of loud pattern shirts and stuff, and everyone knew the Sloppy Boys.
Well, because everybody else wears
Celebrities.
all black around here.
Yeah, everyone.
the Everybody's Johnny Cash around here.
All the staff is all in the same El Paso black T-shirt.
I think also it makes us more, anytime we're all doing a thing, like when we went to Madison Square Garden to see Fish and we were all wearing the same red Budweiser
We should
shirt.
have brought those shirts.
We should have brought those shirts. People were like, Sloppy Boys, Sloppy Boys, Sloppy Boys. So it's like, oh, if we chose to always dress in uniform, we would feel like celebrities.
Yeah.
What did he say?
And always hang out is the three of us.
Yeah.
It's funny when we do go, like when we did the big sandwich hunt a couple episodes ago. Remember?
Yeah.
We walked around looking for sandwiches.
Yeah, but just the three of us
Blazing heat.
in loud shirts. You hear Sloppy Boys. Yeah. It's not often you see the cast of a thing
Yeah.
hanging
together.
out just them.
Right. It was like when we were walking to see the Minions movie,
Yeah.
and somebody went up to like just one of us and was like, "Hey, I like Sloppy Boys," and we are like, hey, "It's all of us." And it's like, "Oh shit,
Oh shit, you guys are losers. Hey.
no,
Why? Because we're seeing the Minions or because we're all together?
you just look bad.
You're dressed like shit. Oh, okay.
You smell like shit." Oh, that was an interesting concern of ours. We did some morning radio this morning, plugging our
was
event
cool.
tonight, and we were a little concerned coming in that Mike, you were wondering if they had Smello audio.
Smell audio, yeah.
Not
'Cause
smell-o-vision.
I wasn't planning on it, and I didn't shower
Because we
this
hadn't
morning.
showered and we were hoping that they didn't have Smello audio.
Yes, which I think is taking the nation by storm.
Right. It's radio where you can smell the people, but you still can't see them. They're working on the visual element. Like the technicians that work on TV and the internet have cracked visuals, but the radio technicians still haven't figured
Well, you
that
can
out.
have two. Like right now, we've got video on this and audio.
And no smell.
No smell, but you can do audio and
It's a
smell.
2 cents max.
Yeah.
But you're lucky they don't have it here in El Paso. Smello audio.
Yeah. For everyone's sake, really.
Think of Smell-O-Vision. I think of like there's like an old newsreel introducing Smell-O-Vision. What is that? 50s probably. And there was like a card that you like smell along with. And you're watching a movie, and I remember watching this newsreel where someone's watching a movie, and there's a skunk on the screen, and this man like in a suit like holds up a thing. Ooh. It's like, is that good? Watching a movie to smell a skunk is like, so bad. It wouldn't smell good. It would smell bad.
Well, remember we went to Hobbs and Shaw in 4XD or whatever that is, where the
Yes.
seat moves
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
blast
yeah.
air on you. At one point they were running through a field and you feel some like grass on your calves of your legs. And afterwards, after the movie, when the lights were on, we looked down. It was like just two little pieces of like frayed plastic. That
Oh yeah, it's like little
touch the
feathery
back
type
of
things that
everybody's
go
calves.
during there was like a storm at the end of Hobbs and Shaw or
Yeah.
something like that, and to amplify it, they had little strobe lights go like. But then you look up and it would the strobe lights would just be like revealing the black ceiling and scaffolding and stuff. It like really demystified the whole thing.
I remember in Hobbs and Shaw, there's all these gunshots and it's shaking your seat. Whoa, wow. And then at one point, a quiet scene in the movie, there hadn't been anything in a while, and somebody got a text, and then my seat went.
I see. Maybe this is. I can't remember if we joked about this.
I feel like I'm Shaw.
I can't remember if we joked about this, but is there also a part where like someone puts a glass down on a table and you get a little like jolt? Ooh,
Somebody's having fun with it.
Well, should we?
What?
I'd say bring on our first
Let's
guest.
take a break.
Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll bring on our
We
first
don't
guest.
take breaks on the blowout, but yes,
We could.
let's take a break.
Let's take a
Folks,
break.
We're taking a break.
And we're back.
Hey, that's my line. Tim, try it. I'd love to see you try it.
Well, we're back here on the blowout. I'm the big Tim Bopper. We're going to bring out a guest
Damn, that's pretty good.
who's in our film, who has accompanied us on a trip. This is kind of, if you listen to our podcast, you've heard of Lil Mookie B a lot. He comes up
He's
a
been
lot.
on before.
He's never been on, and
He's been on.
He's
always on.
He's always on.
We gave him a heads up to be very on here today. But
said
this
he
is
would.
a close, long-time friend of ours who we always kind of talk about.
He came to the Minions with us that time.
Exactly. I would say a lot of our anecdotes, you hear anecdotes. Sometimes you watch an Instagram video, you say, who's holding the camera? Sometimes you hear us complaining about our hangovers. Who was out with them that night? This guy he's in the background.
Who was cajoling them into over-consuming that?
Exactly. Who was enabling their darker urges?
Who was the guy who said right when he sits down on the couch he's going to say the funniest thing we've all ever heard?
I look forward to that because I could use a laugh to lift me up. I've been having a hard
it's
blowout.
been stressful.
I've been having a depressing blowout.
God, we need him now more than ever.
Please welcome Lil Mookie B. Mookie Blakelock. Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
What is up?
Great to see you. Thanks.
Howdy.
Okay, good. We told him to do a funny entrance and he's doing it.
He's doing it. Hey, I know
The
he
guy
would.
can deliver.
I'm sitting there next to your boy.
It's
Don't
funny
move
you
about
guys were just talking about me, and I think you could probably say, and this can go in the lexicon of the Sloppy Boys, but I think I'm kind of the Forrest Gump of Sloppy Boys. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was there for all
You
the
were
major
there.
events. You know
well,
what I
one
mean?
time we put our muddy face in a T-shirt and it looked like a smiley face, and you sold T-shirts of that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you were going to say I'm the fourth sloppy boy, but you would say-
Forrest Gump.
No, I would never say that. I wouldn't want to.
You know
I wouldn't
Forrest
want that.
Gump, you know those big running scenes where he's running across the country back and forth? The wide shots are Tom Hanks' brother running
As the double?
as the double.
He's not a twin.
He's not a twin, but he's like a runner in real life. And apparently you can tell like when Tom Hanks is running, he's just kind of jogging like a regular person.
Tom Hanks' brother also does all the off-brand, like straight-to-DVD Woody voice.
Are you serious?
There's an
Cool.
interview with Tom Hanks where he talks about his brother when they do like Woody's in a McDonald's commercial or something. That's his brother doing it.
Oh, and that's why
Wow.
sometimes you hear is like, "There's a snake in my brother's boot."
Oops, sorry, let's take that
Can we
again.
do it again? Oh,
There's
Ran
a
out of
brother in
tape.
my snake.
Can I get one more? You know, Orange County, Colin Hanks is running around. It's Chet Hanks.
Yeah, whenever I hear a Colin Hanks rap, I'm always like, I think that might be Jet.
And also in Orange County, Jack Black is being really funny. A lot of the shots is Jack White.
How great that Jack Black and Jack White came out at the same time, but they never did anything
No
together.
collabs.
Didn't really, they
know.
played to a similar fan base at the exact same time.
Yes.
Both
They're
kind of
probably
cool,
fans of
cool
each other,
indie
they must
of course.
They probably got something cooking up right now that's going to be
Truly.
epic.
I bet.
Truly, like Jack, if you look at Jack Black, you probably think that guy loves Jack White, probably.
Yes.
And Jack White, we know, is a comedy fan. Probably a big fan.
He was on Portlandia.
What the fuck?
They've definitely hung out.
Yeah.
They've been in the same room together, I
Yep.
bet.
Okay, speaking of names, Jack Black, Jack White, right?
Yeah.
Mookie.
Yeah.
I've stood next to you when you meet people and you have the same interaction all the time. It's probably in the mind of a lot of viewers and listeners right now. People meet you and they say, ha, Mookie, like Mookie Blaylock. And then you have to say, actually, yes.
Yeah, or a lot. I get a lot
Actually,
of
yes.
like Mookie Betts now. Is
We heard
what I
that
get.
That's what I was going to say. It's slowly become
Yes.
Mookie Betts, which is funny because it's another athlete.
Yes, and Mookie Wilson is the other famous Mookie, so they're all athletes.
They're all athletes.
Like
Who's
me.
Mookie Wills?
But
Also a baseball player?
Mookie Wilson was the guy who hit the ball between Bill Buckner's legs. Did you know that?
Yeah.
86.
Did you really know that?
It rings a
86.
bell, but yeah. Mets.
No, 89. 89?
Anyway,
Let's say this. But your last name is Blakelock.
Yes.
So the reason for your nickname is because of its similarity to Mookie Blaylock.
Yes. When I was 10 years old, I've told this story maybe a million times in my life.
But this is for the people.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy doing it now, but let this be the
I just
final
told
one.
my fucking Jerry Lewis story.
And also, if you're telling stories after this one, you have to tell the funniest story I've ever heard,
I think I know what you're talking
which I
about.
also tell people about.
When I was 10 years old, my Little League coach started calling me Mookie because that's when Mookie Blaylock, the basketball player who played for mostly the Atlanta Hawks, but I think he played for the Denver Nuggets and maybe another team or
I
two.
thought he was a baseball player, gotcha.
Nope, he's a basketball player. And this was like, well, I would have been 10 in 1993 or 4. So my Little League coach started calling me Mookie, like Mookie Blaylock. My last name is Blakelock with a K in the middle, hard K.
And your first name is Michael.
And my first name's Michael. People used to call me Mikey when I was a little kid, pre-10.
So then you can see the leap from Mikey
Yes.
to Mookie. Yes.
So he started calling me Mookie, and then everybody on my Little League team started calling me Mookie, and then everybody started calling me Mookie. My family calls me Mookie. I went to college. I could have switched back to Mike or Michael, but I did Mookie. I moved to LA. I could have switched back, but I was Mookie. So I'm
that's
just
good.
It's a good
I'm
name.
Mookie till I die.
It suits you.
When
It's
did you
good.
stop introducing yourself as Mike or Michael?
Like when I was 10 years old.
Gotcha.
Well, so we met you back at UCB in LA, and our sketch group, the Birthday Boys, did a show with your sketch group, A Kiss from Daddy, and you had Michael Cassidy,
Yep.
Michael Blakelock, we had Michael Hanford, Michael Mitchell.
Like Cassidy.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I could wring your little neck.
First one he mentioned. But, yeah.
And then a lot of those Mikes came together in the Herald team, Arts and Athletics. We had 4 Michaels.
We don't need more mics. So
Yeah,
Mookie,
agreed.
Casserole, Handman. We don't need mics.
Mitch.
That's the one.
You know where Mookie Blaylock, the basketball player, is currently?
No.
Prison.
For name
vehicular
crime?
manslaughter.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yep, he was like on drugs and crashed his car and killed 2 people.
Wow. Jeez.
So, looks like I took the #1 spot.
No, Mookie Betts.
Well, of Mookie Blaylocks.
Okay. What you just described is
What about that hard K you were talking about?
Yeah, Blooks.
They're close enough you can put them in the same category, I think.
Let's
Now,
ask you
Mookie-
this.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, you're the
Because I'm
host.
going to put this guy back in the hot seat.
Yeah, I like that.
You ready?
We
Yeah,
do.
do it.
Let's do hot ones.
Can you tell, I mean, your funniest story of all time about you?
About
I laugh at
the karate story?
I'll be sitting just by myself and see a picture of you or see it on Instagram. And
This is another one that I've told other people as well.
Probably when I was around, I don't know, I would say like 10 years old, give or take.
So it could be 93, 94, around the time your coach nicknamed
this is a
you
big
Mookie.
year for you, 10 years.
And I want to say, I maybe did this 3 times ever.
Sure, but that's enough.
Three's a lot.
So I grew up in Massachusetts, and we would get like, big summer rainstorms, and when it would rain really hard.
This is the era of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was a little fat kid, and every time it would rain really hard, we had a little side porch for our side door for our house that was like at the top of our driveway, seeing down to the street.
Visible from the street is the
This is
key.
important.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a moment. It would pour rain, and I would, in like a fat kid like t-shirt and gym shorts and bare feet, go outside in the pouring rain on my porch, and I would practice karate moves. Now we do have a visual element of this, so it was very basic, like, oh, my mic fell down. It was very basic, like, punch, kick, stuff like that.
Had you taken karate lessons at all?
Not one.
Okay.
But my fantasy was, I was out there in the pouring rain, drifting, and the fantasy was people on the street would drive by, see me at the top of the driveway at the porch and go, that kid is so dedicated to his karate that he does it even when it's even when it's pouring rain outside.
Wow.
Even when it's pouring rain.
Only in the pouring rain. I've never seen him.
I never did it when it was sunny. It's not like he's out there every single day, but even when it's raining, it's just that. And I mean, this
If you
is
lived in
the main
Seattle, you
road.
would have been a
Yes.
black belt.
Yeah. This is the main road of my town where like a car going by me would not be literally looking to their side for the 1 millisecond that they drive by my
Right, it's down the
driveway.
driveway. That's so funny.
I had the flip version of this where I would go on family bike rides with my mom and dad and sister, and I knew that my crush, Caitlin Marinin, lived down the street. First of all, I didn't want to be seen biking with my family.
Sure.
But also, I thought that if she happens to be looking out her window, I want to be going so fast by her house. So I remember, oh God, this is
Oh my God.
This was again like being 10 or 11 or something
Yeah.
like that. I remember being on my bike and being like sort of at the top of the hill where we come down and pass her house, and pedaling as hard as I could and muttering to myself, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God. That's what girls
And
want.
here's the thing, if she was looking out her window, she would just see a kid on a bike go.
With a helmet on.
Wanting to
Probably
be
himself.
seen in a certain way, but also ensuring that
Right.
the likelihood of you being seen is almost nothing.
And as you now know, if you're trying to impress a girl with your bike riding, don't do it so intense. You got to do it with a little Riz. you know?
Yeah. Well, now we
Am
didn't
I pedaling? I don't care.
have Riz back then. Riz is new.
Yeah, Riz is new.
Yeah,
You put a little Bluetooth speaker on it, you're playing Old Town Road. Kind of a little slower.
Driving circles around the driveway.
Mookie, I like going back to your karate story. The funny thing about, I mean, like having the mindset of like, I want to show off my dedication is really funny, but also not doing moves that are like above you. So like you got like Ninja Turtles were huge. Not doing like huge big karate moves, just like
no.
the small like
Yes,
getting
like
ready type moves.
the disciplined stuff that you do before you get to the fun stuff. You know what I mean? The like
Fundamental.
Really
you know,
like the granular
when
form
When
stuff.
Pai Mai is like first teaching the bride, and she's like, "Why do I have to keep punching this thing over and over again?" And he's like, "When we're done, you'll see." It was kind of like that, which of course I'm sure the people driving by in the cars would understand.
So none of us ever took a karate lesson, but you were a white belt.
I took one karate lesson, yeah, and was not thrilled with it. My parents were like, if you don't love it, we're not going to spend the money.
Right.
If you're not passionate about it.
Karate and jujitsu and all those always seem very like. It always turned me off that it was like people in bare feet and it was sweaty. Like I feel like karate gyms always seem like they would be stinky and musty to me.
I always remember the wrestling room, like if I was at like at my school, it just feel like you go in there. I think we had to do like CPR class there. I'd be like, "Woof! What is going on in here all
Dude,
the time?"
when I
It's
was-
just closed off, mats on the wall. There's like nowhere for the air to go.
When I was a kid, my dad had like, we went to whatever company he was working for had like a big company picnic. And one of the events at the picnic was like a karate demonstration. And it was just like people being like, here's some karate moves and we'll do it. And I remember it was like them in bare feet and there was it probably didn't even have anything to do with the karate, but there was this like stench of like must and trash that like I think as a kid I associated with like
Oh,
the
interesting.
karate people's like sweaty bare feet. And for some reason I like if I look in a karate studio in a window, the smell like recalls.
Wow.
From when I was like a child.
The demonstration, are they breaking boards like Kenny Powers style? or-
Yeah, stuff like that, and like just
Not Kenny
doing
Powers,
like like wrestling,
Foot
doing
this
like
way.
little 2-person demonstrations where they like whatever when they like flip and put somebody's head between their legs and then they tap
That's-
the ground and
I love when I'll see them online of like there's like guys holding boards at different levels and someone like runs up the wall and then like kicks them all before he lands. That's
Yeah.
cool. But the smell thing, when I took my one karate class, the instructor had bad breath. And I remember when she would come around to like, we'd get into like a fighting position or whatever. She would like come to move our like legs and hands, and I just remember being like,
that stuff is traumatizing. I
Why
think it
are
really
people out
is.
there with bad breath? That's crazy.
hey, I've been caught with it a few times.
I think you shouldn't. I think you should not have. It's unacceptable. I feel like
I think we've all had bad breath. We've all had eaten some onions or had a dry mouth. But
We also
when
take
there's
care.
somebody where you're like, that guy has bad breath.
I'm fine with onion breath or garlic breath, but I mean that when he says bad breath and
Like
we know the taste,
unbrushed.
Yeah, brush your fucking teeth.
Yeah.
Get all the way to the back. Go.
Gargle the Listerine.
But like, it's so rude. I feel when I smell it now, I think like, not like, oh, that poor person. I'm like, you fucking asshole.
Wow.
Don't subject me to this.
Well, maybe they don't know.
Fran Gillespie rolled out of a cab barfing because somebody's breath was bad one time. We'll have her on to tell the story.
Jeez.
I don't remember the specifics, but she was stuck in a car. Breath so bad, she was hungover, and she needed to barf. And when she opened the door, she accidentally fell out of the car.
if you're hungover and you have to deal with a bad smell, triggers some.
When you're hungover, you can't have any variables of any sense. It's got to be straight down the middle. You got to be locked away.
When you're hungover, you got to have wake up. You have smoke a joint, ice cold Coca-Cola, a little bit of spicy.
Okay, Anthony Bourdain.
Thank you.
Mookie,
The
listen to
goat.
the pod.
Did you see that
the
story
goat.
about Meryl Streep on
Yep.
on?
Jonah Hill. I think
Yeah.
that's a fake story.
You think so?
What was the story? I didn't catch it.
I hope this story didn't cross Jonah's boundaries.
You know what? I probably shouldn't even tell it.
Tell it.
Well, on the set of Don't Look Up, which is kind of a movie about climate change, if you think about it.
I never put
you
that
kind of get the
together.
metaphor.
Not seen it.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I guess like Jennifer Lawrence and Jonah Hill were calling Meryl Streep the goat the whole time. And she took it as like, she was like, oh, I guess I'm the old goat. And they're like, no, it means greatest of all time. You're like the greatest living actress. And she thought they were calling her a literal goat.
She's like, well, now it gives me an excuse to eat this tin can.
So you bring up that story to say you think
Yeah,
Meryl
I think
Streep is
she's.
dumb?
I think she's like one of the most unintelligent people.
When it comes to being stupid, she's the goat.
She's a goat.
She's a goat.
You ever watch? It's great when someone has the reputation of being really good. And if you watch a Meryl Streep movie, it's insane. She's so good.
Yep.
And it doesn't even have to be like big swings. It's like you just believe her. I've complained to you guys about once I know a movie star, I have trouble believing them. Suspending my disbelief and thinking they're the real character in the movie. Meryl,
No such problem.
no such problem. She just exists. And fucking, what was something really good she did sort of recently?
It was the Big Little Liars?
Yes.
Big Little Lies or something?
Big Little
Yeah.
Lies. Different tone for her. Her going out of her comfort zone. Still 100% struck me as authentic.
So like steady.
Yeah.
There's something so like she delivers lines with like the way this house is so soundly put together.
Yes. And what's funny is
good house.
we were joking about her being dumb, but I think it's a thing I think about a lot.
Yes.
I'm super smart, but I'm a bad actor. And then there are
I would
morons
even
that
say
are
you're not even
better.
super smart.
There are morons that are better at acting than me, and I got to give it up for them.
Because they fool themselves into believing a fake reality.
They're so dumb they can trick themselves.
Yeah, like Aaron Paul can just be like, I am in the path. You know what I mean? Like, like
That's him giving an interview.
I don't even know what a camera is. I'm so dumb.
the path.
Well, isn't that Jeff? You'll probably agree with me on this. When dumb actors are dumb most of the time, and when they're in a movie with a bad director, they're bad because they let the bad directors let the dummies make their own choices.
Right.
But-
and good directors are like, hey, dummy, you have to do this.
P.T. Anderson.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Smart
Oh,
director.
he could-
smart director, dumb actor
yes.
is probably the best working
They're good at
relationship.
acting, but they're not smart about making choices, and so you have to have a director. And we've talked about too many examples, but like directors, maybe more modern directors that are a little sort of like, I am more concerned about like the actors doing interviews and going, this director was such a joy to work with and he let us play and do whatever we wanted. And then you watch the movie and you're like, tell those dummies not to make that stupid fucking choice. Tell that idiot not to scream.
Speaking of P.T. Anderson,
P.D. Anderson.
P.D. Anderson, Daniel Day-Lewis is also the Streep thing where you're just like, ooh, I don't recognize this guy at all from
Right.
Transformative.
I've told you guys that I attended a DGA screening of Lincoln, and
Jeff
somebody
right now is like, DGA? Well.
DGA?
DGA, not DJ, Jeff.
DJ. But he is in the DJ because he's a
I
director.
know, but he's probably thinking,
So every time he pays his union dues, he thinks that?
if he hears something that
I hear it.
sounds like DJ, but this was DGA.
He
so he's
runs for his.
he probably made that
turntables.
mental leap. Jim, you were
sprints to those
telling a
things.
story.
I was at the Bruin Theater in Westwood.
Go UCLA.
Steven Spielberg's on stage with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Right on.
Someone asked a question to Daniel Day-Lewis. You're this amazing actor. You've played all these iconic roles, but now you're playing a real person. How was that different for you playing an actual a person? And also it's this weird thing with Lincoln because everyone knows him, but we don't really know
We know him from the 5.
the 5 freeway.
No, the dollar.
We know him from the 5. We know him from the 1
and the penny,
cent.
of course. Yeah.
But and we've seen. Isn't there a viral video of like an amalgamation of what Lincoln actually sounded like? And he sounded
He sounded
weird.
more delicate, like it was like
Yeah, he's really tall, but he had like a funny voice.
but he's not like 4 score and
I'm mixing up with the
harmony.
Neanderthal man who was like,
that's the news thing. They're like we've recreated the larynx of the Cro-Magnon man or
Four
something.
score and set. Yeah.
This is what he might have sounded like.
here's what he was like if spooked by a TV camera.
And at that point, if you're a Neanderthal, 7 years ago was not even that long ago in terms of
To put it
time.
in context, at the Mesozoic era.
Because they know they're prehistoric and there's so much time to go.
Yeah.
More to
They're
come.
like,
People
I'm
are brand new at this
I'm
point.
fairly early on.
Well, somebody asked Daniel Day-Lewis what it's like to play a real person, but who's not around anymore, so you can't watch tape, and you don't have anything to emulate. And Daniel Day-Lewis gave the greatest response ever. He was like, "Well, of course, Abraham Lincoln did live on this earth, and I'm here, and he still exists here in the ether. So it's not like he's gone. All I have to do is cast out lines into the ether and receive back. He's out there, and I'm getting it back. So when I'm talking, it's not me. It is him, and it's coming through me. And you could feel like 200 people at this movie theater be like, cuckoo. And it was great because he said this whole thing, and then as he finished, he goes, "Now what I've just told you is all illusion, but it's the illusion I told myself."
He's like, that's what I need to
So
get
that's
into
what
it.
he's on set. He knows that's fake, but when he's on set, he's just like,
That's great. So he's basically saying, I'm smart and dumb at the same time.
yeah.
He's
exactly.
like, I choose to be dumb at the times that I need to be dumb.
Yeah.
Now, going back to Blood, Sweat, and Beers, the documentary where...
Oh, it's a movie about the Sloppy Boys,
Now,
directed by Robert
that is some acting
Great
going on
acting.
in there.
Great acting.
You have to
It's a
act.
documentary, so it's not really acting.
But where does the line... We knew cameras were in the room.
No, the line is that we weren't acting.
Yes, but you...
Yes.
The line is as soon as you have to say lines.
The Heisenberg principle. Wait, which one's the one? No, Schrodinger's cat.
You can't portray something without, you can't observe something without changing it.
Yes.
Observe.
Schrodinger's cat is you put a cat in a box with gunpowder.
Wait, which one's the one? Which one's the one you're talking about?
The one where you observe.
Yeah. Who is to be observed?
You can't
Arkham.
observe.
Is that
It's the
Heisenberg?
Sloppy Boys.
You can't
Blood,
observe
Sweat, and
a jungle cat without changing its environment.
Oh. Because it knows you're there?
Simply
and
by the
you
fact,
can't-
simply
You
by your
can't bring
presence.
the fox across the river because he'll eat the chicken, so you got to bring the
That's
grain.
Well, the
across the river.
Schrodinger's, what's his name?
Schrodinger's.
That's when like the cat is alive and
The
dead at
cat's
the
in
same
the
time.
box and he's dead or he's
But
alive.
that's
Until you
the- that's
open the box, you don't know if he's alive
But
or dead.
does that not depend upon the observation?
Yes,
God, he's
see, that's
so
what
smart.
I'm getting. That's
Mookie is a good
the
actor who's
questions we
smart.
were answering here in the film.
Yes, hopefully by the end of the film, those questions are all answered.
And more.
But for real, do you think that our dynamic changed due to it being filmed? Because I don't. I
don't think so, really.
I think it's a very pure depiction, Robert.
I knew there were times where I was like, "Oh, camera's here. I'll goof around for it a little bit."
I feel like that. I mean, it's made me think ever since we shot this movie. When I watch reality TV, I really think about like, yeah, they're under lights and there's cameras around them. It's really hard to just be yourself. But I think that we had a task to do.
Yeah.
If I were just
Right,
like,
we were more.
so like if I were just supposed to hang out with you guys or like have a fight with you guys, it would be hard for me to tune out the cameras. But when I'm talking to Gabe the engineer about my guitar tone.
Having a task is perfect to distract the conscious mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're kind of like giving a vessel, so that way you can be observed.
Yes.
And your unconscious is doing all the work.
Yeah.
It's good.
I guess
Great
there
job,
really is no way to
There's no
have
wrong
a
way to eat a Reese's.
realistic setting.
Yeah.
Reese's not sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not
Reese's
sorry.
not sorry?
Isn't that it? Isn't that the tagline?
Reese's not sorry?
There's no wrong way to eat a
It's
Reese's.
really good.
No, the new Will Arnett ones are like Reese's, not sorry. Or it's like going off
Reese's.
sorry, not sorry, but
Reese's, not sorry.
Bet nobody better lay a finger on my Reese's.
nobody better lay a finger on Bart's Reese's peanut
There's no
butter cup.
wrong way to eat a Reese's.
What was the
Me?
Butterfinger thing
I'm
with
not
Bart?
sorry.
It was like, hey friends.
Wait, for
It was like,
Butterfinger?
yeah, it was like,
it's Neato.
yeah, it's Neato.
Like the first Simpsons Butterfinger commercials ends with like, yeah, it's Neato.
It is neato.
That was that was a swear word back then.
Neato?
Yeah.
Damn.
Back in back in
Sent to your room
1995.
saying Neato.
Well, folks, we hope you thought this episode was neato.
Neo.
Do it again.
Well, folks, I hope you thought this episode was Neo. And hey, we'd like to thank Mookie, our guest.
Thank you guys.
We'd like to thank
And thanks
Robert
to Robert.
O'Dean.
We're like Mookie.
I mean, he's running around. I don't know if he's going to pop his face in here.
Can
but
you
he's,
jump in and say hi? You
just
directed
say
the
hi. He's
thing.
not on mic. He's not
Get
on
in
mic.
there,
Just give
Robert.
him a cut.
Come on.
Alfred Hitchcock over here.
Robert Hitchcock. Oh, yeah, he wants us to call him Robert Hitchcock now. After that display.
Yeah.
Yeah, his directing
After
styles
that
for the
display of
birds.
unprofessionalism.
Alfred Hitchcock, a goat in his own right.
Quite true.
He's a director in his own right.
Go.
A goat in his own
right.
right. Yeah, kind of the greatest of all time of whatever he did.
There's that story of him, I forget who told it, but he had like a meal with somebody, they ate it all, and he's like, let's do it again.
Started over with salads, steaks, dessert, did round 2 of a whole meal.
In that sense of eating, he is a goat, because goats in cartoons eat a lot of stuff, trash.
Cans.
Sure,
Stuff,
tin cans.
Tin cans, I mentioned
You don't
it
see
earlier.
Brett Ratner doing that.
If he did, he'd be Brett Fatner.
That'll do it for us, folks. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for everyone who's coming to the show tonight and the screening. We love you.